Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends, foes, lovers of all sides of the globe. Welcome to the second episode of the Vibe Union podcast. I'd firstly like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional custodians of this land we are recording on. I would also like to pay respects to the elders, both past, present, and future. My name is DillyDave, and I am your host with not the most, but not the least either. I'm kind of mediocre. And here today, joined with me, is firstly Mash, aka M to the Q. Hey,
what's up? Hey, it's so good, man. Seriously, how is it that everything you say sounds like a bar, but like as if narrated by David Attenborough? I don't know how you pull it off, but it's dope. I rate it. I'm good, man. I'm good.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the call back. Acknowledging my talent, which is here at the forefront. We're so lucky, Vibe Union Podcast is so lucky to be joined by not one guest, but two guests. We're doubling up. We're not doubling down to double the dollars, but we're just doubling up on the goods. So we've got Mikado, aka KC, aka whatever you want her to be, because she is infinitely powerful. And we've got the man with the rig that runs hot, ConnR, with a capital R. How are we doing there?
Good. How are you?
Great. Golden. Welcome. Welcome,
the man
Vibers.
with the what? Sorry, Dilly? With the rig that runs hot.
The rig that runs hot. I didn't even write that one down.
I would take that as a compliment.
Shit, I'll write that down. That's too much.
Well, look, somebody better tell me how their day's been. Otherwise, I'm just going to go nuts.
Who's stepping up to the plate? Well, I'm talking now, so it's going to be me.
Do it.
What I do today? Today's been a day. I've been trying to keep productive, when I'm not doing music. I am studying a degree of designer. So I'm just trying to keep my skills fresh, keep them sharp, and working on some passion projects that will come up very shortly. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
But other than that, oh, yeah, I know. It sounds a bit saucy when I say it like that, like secret projects.
Would one of those secret projects be anything to do with a selection of music that you may put forth under the Vibe Union Spotify?
You know what? It
page?
Potentially could have something to do with that. Tunes specifically to shake one's rump. So
Okay.
I think if you want vibes that you can just put on, shut up, and move to, then this is what's up.
You're the supplier. That's exciting.
Absolutely.
We're looking for that to come out this Wednesday, yeah? Is that right?
Absolutely.
So it'll already be out. If you're
already be
listening to
out.
this,
Yeah.
you will probably already be able to just jump on Spotify, search up something to do with rump shaking, I believe. If you type in Vibe Union Rump Shakers, that'll probably do the trick.
I was going to say that's the magic phrase, is it not? Specifically, Mikado's Rump Shakers, you got to know that it's from me. You got to know, the dirty dealer of the dope tunes. That's me. So, yes, Rump Shakers. We got a bit of Shaka Khan. We got a bit of TLC. We got a bit of Zap,
Bam.
Roger.
Bam.
Lots of old school shit. Lots of Debrat. Lots of queens and kings of the hip hop industry, just stuff that makes you move. And I think, especially with everything going on, need a little bit of that,
Need a reason to move.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Too right.
The man with the capital R. What'd you get through today? A big day of work, I hear. You working class man. How do you feel about it?
Still on that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So worked. I got up nice and late, had a shower, worked, and then cooked dinner for the fam. And now here we are.
What'd you cook for dinner?
Green curry.
Green curry? Ooh. Oh, man, it's continental with it.
What's
curry. All right, so everyone's got like their recipes, and it sounds like this isn't the first time you've cooked this green curry. You said that
I
very
do this every second week, and sometimes it's red.
Oh,
which is a bad green curry.
Run us through it. Are we about to get an exclusive? What is like the ConnR secret ingredient to a green curry?
Secret ingredient. I don't know if I can say it on live TV.
If you say love, I swear to God.
No, I got none of that. Secret ingredient, you go to Woolies and you can get these pre-made sachets that are already done, and you tip it on your chicken and it's done.
All right. All right. Straight out the packet type of dude.
So it's more.
No, but it's more than that. It's more than that. You know, it's about,
It's more preparation than cooking, is what it sounds like.
No, what you do is you get your chicken, you cut it up, right?
Yep.
And then you get your capsicum and you cut it up, and then you get your chili, and then you chuck it all in the pan, and then when it's brownish, you chuck in your mix, right? And then
it was too good to be true.
Oh, no.
When I was back.
Oh, can I swear on this? Probably not. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
You can definitely swear on this.
Potato and zucchini, and then you do the roti on the barbecue.
Oh, there's some roti in the mix.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Did you call it a roti?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm lagging, I think.
It's all good. We got
You're
your back.
now.
We can
I'm
deal
back
with it.
now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. Well, yeah,
Okay,
there's some
so-
roti in the mix. You chuck that on the barbecue, or the frying pan, depends what you're working with. And you get that nice and crispy. And even today, I actually purchased some coconut rice. So there's coconut rice as well.
Ooh.
And tell you
Yep.
what goes down a treat.
Oh,
So
it
there's
does.
5 of us in this humble abode. And once a week I cook. Once a week my stepbrother and his girlfriend cooks. And then a couple nights a week the parents cook.
Delightful. Sounds like full bellies all round and happy bellies at that.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Can
That's why I'm
I?
late to every VU.
here's my like hot tip on coconut rice. Like I'm a sucker for it, but I don't go out of my way to buy coconut rice. And I've started doing this. I don't know how y'all cook your rice. Apparently this is contentious. If you've not seen this video of like a Vietnamese guy criticizing the BBC One, like how to cook rice, where she just
Oh, I've seen.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
Very
that.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
it's mental, right? That's fucked up. It's crazy. But anyway, there's a point at which like I like to put oil into the rice, right? And so instead of just any old cooking oil or extra virgin olive, and like that's great, you know, that's fab on any other day. Coconut oil, just put some coconut oil into that, gives it the aroma, still does the non-stick situation, and now you've got a slightly weaker, like go the coconut milk if you really want to, but if you just go the coconut oil, just like a subtle, just a hint through, just cuts through the mix, you know? It's like a good EQ ramp up on the on the range that in that vocal tone, just puts you through.
I don't boil rice or
Sounds
anything, but
essential.
I just buy the packs again and chuck them in the microwave.
Oh my
'cause
God, Connor.
You're
Yeah.
so
much
creative,
easier.
darling.
You need to grow up,
You're
mate.
so creative.
No. Where do you
I
think
love it.
channel all my creative energy into? It's definitely cooking and music.
I'll tell you.
Very.
Yeah.
It sounds like the one pot is the way to go. Like for you, it very
one
much
pot.
seems like we
It
get
is.
one
It
pot,
is
we're
the one
chucking it
pot.
all in there.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
me, Connor, I just need to know: can you roll your R's? Can just
Can I roll
ask
my what?
your R's, like the letter.
Roti.
I thought you said my ass, and I was like, you're getting a bit personal now. I haven't
You can
done it
roll
in a
his
while,
ass.
but I
I've
give it a
never met
crack.
anyone who could roll their own ass, but
We can roll his
I was
ass
just
up.
gonna.
Like Spanish
Add it
and
up.
stuff. How they
See.
No, I was
See.
just gonna say, I am the roti is a very big
Roti.
part of our
Roti.
family
Roti.
cooking. So roti,
roti.
yeah, got to
When
say
you-
with
I
a
was
little
learning,
bit of pizzazz.
I was learning, what was it? Icelandic for like a week. And there's a lot
yeah.
of R rolling in there. Yeah.
I remember that week in
guessed
high
it
school.
Icelandic.
Yeah.
Is it Icelandic? Is it called? I swear Icelandic's a language.
I think it definitely is.
I think it is.
I've heard
Yeah.
It's not just the made up language
not a
that
common.
Bjork sings in. Yeah.
Because I was watching Vikings and they speak Old Norse, which is like a variant of it with just like some words that sound really old fashioned, like how we would speak in ye old English. It's sort of like that, where they can make out what they're saying based on the context, but it's sort of like also a bit weird. I was watching this Icelandic chick watch Vikings, you know, one of those where you watch them watch stuff, and she was stopping it without the captions to try and work out what they were saying the whole time. And she said that these people are doing really well. She sucks at rolling her R's, but otherwise she's all right. And it was really interesting. So
Yeehaw!
fun fact.
Mm.
Yeah,
I love
really cool.
love that.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just gotta catch some Vikings, you know.
Gotta catch some
Oh,
Vikings.
Vikings is great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've never gotten around it.
But not the last season. It was
Oh,
good. I
really?
think
I
the
have no
first.
spoilers. I don't know.
No, I won't.
I'll push my headphones in closer. I'm putting them in louder.
Yeah. Gotta.
I'll tell you what, if I've got one reason not to watch Vikings, it's because I get to see Dave Dilly multiple times a week, face to face like this. That does it for me to get to see a Viking. Like,
The beard. Yeah, it's the beard.
look at this guy.
You should definitely braid that beard.
This guy looks like he rolls all of
Get the
his
horn.
R's and his neighbor's R's. Like he rolls every R in town. So Connor, watch out with your capital R.
I'll tell you
The
one thing.
neighborhood R's.
I roll more J's than R's.
Hey, hey-oh, hey-oh.
But I do roll my
Because
R's.
my mummy might be listening.
Yeah, well, I mean, like when I
roll
say
the-
gigolo, I'm like gigolo. You know, that's
Gigolo. My favorite thing is when people go to restaurants and they try to sound really fancy and they go, yes, I have the prosciutto. And it's like, you don't have to, baby. It's okay. Like, you can just say prosciutto. I know what you mean. It's fine. Or it's like, can I please get the gnocchi? Yeah, I would like the gnocchi, please.
that's my mum.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
used
my
to
mum.
work as a waitress. It's okay. It's all right. I can say it. I mean, I feel like it's a very mum thing to do. This is how they do. They always point on the menu that, can I please have, what is this? The pesto
Why is
pasta?
that perfect?
Yes. And what is your specials today? Have you got any chicken or fish?
Why do you
all
sound
I
like you're
want to
from
know.
Kath and Kim?
It's very
Little
Kath.
baby cheeses, Kim, cheeses.
All right. You're a little too good at that.
Connor, look at my.
Look at my.
I've only got one word to say to you.
Kim.
Vibe Union. There we go. And that's our segue, baby.
Kath,
That's our
too.
Actually, it would have been a better
Wonderful.
segue if I said
Classic.
segue.
That was great.
Segue. Yeah.
Seg.
Now do
All right.
Kath if she was from New York. You're too special.
She was from, I think the New York equivalent of Kath, it's not going to sound the same. So I don't think it's going to sound the same, but understand that I'm channeling the same character and the same energy. Okay.
Done.
All right. I want you to picture it's a New York beauty salon. You can smell the acrylic. It stinks. And fuck, it really does stink. I'm just letting you know. It doesn't smell good. Anyway, you see 3 women at the back. They're getting their toes done. You see 2 women on the side. They're getting their nails done. The other woman in the back, she's getting her eyebrows done. Anyway, it walks in Nancy, and she sees this place, and it's an absolute mess. Oh, my God. She's just come in, and she's just like, hello, I'd like to get my nails done, please. I don't see a single person in sight to do my goddamn nails. Oh, my God. I could keep going. I really could.
Feels
That
like
was-
I'm
that was
there.
very-
That's
Nailed
wonderful.
it.
Yeah. You
I'm
nailed
sorry
it.
if I clipped
Next.
the mic.
Did she get her nails did?
You know what? In the end, she does, and she gets $10 off. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
Because
move
this
that-
is the thing about Nance. Nance never pays full price. Never.
Nancy
She used our
would
Vibe
never.
Union promo code for New York
She is a
nails.
very valued customer here. You know, she comes there every month to get her nails done. I'm a very valued customer, and I demand. No, I deserve. No, I demand the discounts. I swear, I will tell all of my friends on Yelp. I will put it on my Instagram. I'll put it on my Facebook feed. I swear to God, you will never do nails in this town again. You will never do nails. Never.
I'm fucking terrified. I'm never getting into the
You
nail
should be.
business.
You really
I don't
should
know.
be.
I don't know whether I'm scared or turned on.
Well, I mean, it's the funny
Porque
thing
no
about
las
intimidation.
dos.
The blood rushes somewhere.
It's got to go.
It's got to go
Or
somewhere.
down.
Right, up or
I'll tell you
down.
what. That's,
Either,
I'm really
I'm
glad
glad
that
to
you've
leave
done
it.
that. That definitely is a lot better than my Russell Brand impression last week.
No, that was
No.
perfect. That was,
It was
I
good.
loved
perfect.
it.
I
Don't
actually
play
thought
that
you got
down.
him on. I thought you got him on for a 15-second segment.
And I thought you got him
budget's
on.
increased
No,
a
I'm
little
kidding.
bit.
Hey, all right. Okay, wait.
I'm
Ladies and
kidding.
gentlemen, this is a raunchy episode of the Vibe Union podcast.
Right, round.
I missed it. Was it funny?
Not PG-rated. PG.
I liked your speech about
Rated
me
pretty
wanting to be in the
garbage.
conversation about lucid dreaming too. That was cute.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, damn it. My time to shine.
Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, you need to catch last week's episode. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
True that. Let him know.
Keep this one
If you
running.
don't know,
Go and
then-
click on the other one and have the 2 running in tandem. Just play them both.
I'll just scream. I'll scream now. Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying the podcast? Are you having a good time? Vibe
You're gonna
Union.
scare
Vibe
them
Union.
off.
Yes. No, I'm getting them excited. No, I am.
Yeah, it's either fear or arousal. It's one of the 2 is definitely going to happen, and either one is going to work.
That's the only way
Remember?
Connor operates in
Establish
this
up or
world.
down.
Fear or
Where the blood
arousal.
goes.
Yeah.
Fight or flight response.
Although I guess it is the same for everyone.
Strong.
I'm quite similar. You know, I fear death and I move when I'm aroused, I guess you could say.
Death and Mikado, the two things that scare me most. Mikado.
Mikado.
Sorry, sir. I mean,
That's okay.
It's not like
Shut
Mikado
up!
Mikado. Come on.
call you sir
You know
because
what, this
gender
is-
equality. You are whatever you want to be.
This, you know what? The eyes have it. I swear. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna throw it out there to everybody. It's Mikado. You like avocados?
Mikado.
Good. You're gonna like Mikado. If you don't like avocados, then you're
I've been
broken.
practicing and I still stuffed up. I'm sorry.
It's
Before I
okay.
got on, I was like-
it's all right, sweetie. You're doing okay.
Mikado,
It's all right.
Mikado.
Relax. It's all right. You're
Thank
doing
you.
okay.
You're just doing the best you can, Connor, and that's all we'd ever ask
It's a
for.
tough world out there when everyone's got weird names.
Absolutely. And I mean,
I
none
guess.
weirder than
Connor.
yeah.
Krrr.
Con.
Honestly, it's just Connor. Like it's the easiest thing. People don't get it, you know. And I was on
You
this
think people
American
don't get
review
Connor?
thing. No,
Oh no,
because
this is a
at
don't
first
get me
it was
started episode.
Con with a space in between. Because the way it works is not just a shit way of spelling Connor. It's my nickname is Con and my surname is Rudel. So the R is my surname. So it's Con R. And people are just like, it's Con. Oh, there's this one American who's like, Con R. And I'm just like, sure.
It's Connor, dude.
Con R?
Connor.
It's
I've never
I
heard
prefer-
Con
I prefer
R
his
with
way,
DP
to be honest.
single walls.
Connor.
R. The R stands for robbery. This is a stick up. Like,
Stealing hearts.
I mean, whose hearts?
DillyDave's.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
want it
that's
back.
true.
You've been abusing it for too long. You don't treat me right.
Take that, Dilly's
Give me
heart.
my horn, please. It's
Treat
very
it like
horn,
a king,
thanks.
Dilly. You know about it. I'm
Yeah, I know
sorry,
something
baby.
about
It's
it.
just the way it's got to be.
Yeah, well,
Unless you get bored of me like everybody else.
some things
Well,
speaking
speaking
of
of
you,
are meant to
Emkew.
change, Connor, and some things
I'm not bored
are
of
not
you.
meant to change.
This is my level of interest in you since the start.
So you were never really
It's been
that
pretty
interested.
consistent.
Yeah.
It's been I would say
Fair
pretty consistent.
Oh, shit.
You liked me when I took videos of you that one time. I mean, on the
Oh.
stage.
Hey,
I was going to
listen,
say, were you clothed or unclothed? That's the important
Bit of
question.
both.
depends on how late into my set it is, I think.
It was that steamy
Ouch,
set.
wah, wah.
I once, actually, funnily enough, usually it goes in reverse. The only time I've ever been close to nude on stage was I started in my boxes. So back in high school, we did this like, I used to be, okay, hold on to your horses. Everyone that already loves me, you're about to love me more. I was the captain of my theater sports troupe in high school.
Yes!
Hold your horses.
Theatre
Um,
All right,
so-
the hell.
Theater sports, right? Who'd have thunk it? We got picked on by chess club. Like how
Those bullies.
I know they were brutal, man. And they were strategic about it. But
They planned way ahead.
They
we
got to like
needed
seem like they're a little bit better than somebody else. Just like by
they needed
comparison.
something. Oh man. Astrology club on the other hand, they felt like they had it down. Like they would just come up to us and be like, today's gonna be bad for you. And then we would just be left guessing. But we started this show in front of school assembly, school hall, and it was like, okay, we need to do an introduction. It needs to be kind of creative. How does the team sort of announce itself on stage? And each, it was inter school, so Adelaide High School, name dropping, we're cool like that.
Woo-woo! I was going to say your school had clubs. Shit.
Oh yeah, we were
Okay.
schmancy. So the other school did like a 10-minute long video. You couldn't hear the audio. It was trash. We were like, we got this. So what we were doing was a reverse striptease to Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On." All I'm saying is, like, not my idea. I don't think I could ever come up with something that creative, but we smashed it. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be on stage for the first time, like exposing my hairy ass legs to everyone. So you know what? I can't do that. That's of all of that whole situation. That was the part I thought was embarrassing. So I was like, whatever, fuck this. I've got a razor. I'm going to shave my legs, and like at least then people won't pick on me for
And you
this,
had
right?
the best legs out of the whole group.
And did they pick on you for having shaved legs?
one, they didn't notice, but two, halfway into one leg, I was like, getting one leg done. I was just like, this is impossible. How do people do it? Like the shower was running cold by this point.
I've done it before. It's difficult.
And I was just like, this is nuts. I'm giving up at this point. I am going to have one shaved and one unshaved leg. And I did. And no one noticed because they were so far away from us. There were no cameras. They're like, it's a school assembly, school hall. So I've gone for the next 3 weeks. I had the prickliest legs. It caught on everything. It was the worst experience ever. Why women have to do it. I feel so bad that women feel like they have to do this. It is horrible.
You can probably vouch for me, Mickey, you're right. No better feeling than freshly shaved legs on those bed sheets.
You know what? True. But there is also a feeling that's even better, and that's not shaving my legs. I'm used to that feeling. Look, freshly shaved legs in between the sheets, no one's going to lie. That's fucking phenomenal.
It's really smooth.
But also the ease and comfort of just letting my body do its thing and just letting my hair grow. Like, we're okay with that. As a woman from two very ethnically dominant, hairy backgrounds, I just got to say, like, I really felt you with that, like, leg shaving. Because every time I get through one leg and I got this far. There's a level of emotionality involved because I'm like, fuck it. You can just see me with one shaved leg. It's fine. I'm 100% behind you on that. But point of that is that I'm gonna just say it feels a lot better to not shave. But if a special occasion should occur, let's just switch it. Let's just switch. And that's okay. Situational.
That's it. That was it. That was the only time in my life I've gone, you know what? I should really do this. And immediately regret it. I think like 3 strokes into that experience, and I just went, I just need to get it done. I just need to, and
3 strokes and 2 razors later.
3 strokes, 2 razors later. There was a lot. I'm from the subcontinent where the people
there was tears.
were put in the hottest place on earth and given the most amount of body hair. Like we're God's sick joke. But
they sharpen the razors on your legs.
What's it called? Stropping? Do you strop when you like sharpen a razor?
Strop.
I think that's what it's called.
Stropping.
Never heard that word.
I really would love to see my razor graveyard. I feel like I would need to sit down there and have a conversation and be like, hey guys, look, it wasn't meant to end like this. I'm so sorry. But, we made it. You did this. You helped this. Thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice, everyone. Good night. Just
so many fallen troops.
With my Absolutely. I mean, I would love to have like a little moment of silence for all the fallen razors. Could we, everyone? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm good. All right, sweet. Who's next to talk?
So I think I speak for everybody when I say Emkew. Do you have any footage of that performance?
No, and I'm very glad that does not exist. I personally don't. I don't know about anyone else, but I'll tell you what the worst part is going into it. I was like, okay, this is inter-house sports. Parents have been coming to all these different events, like the footy, there's a whole pavilion packed with, sorry, it wasn't even inter-house, inter-school. And parents came and packed the pavilion for the footy and all that kind of stuff. And, it was a big thing. Like, it's a big thing for the school. So I was like, hey, Mom, come check out the thing that I do. So she came, and then the day before she was planning on coming, 4 or 5 days out. And the day before the performance was when we decided we're going to do this. Like, it's theater sports. We decided we were going to improvise as much as we could. So the day before we decided this is the performance. And I was like, do I tell my mom I'm about to reverse striptease on stage in front of the school, and that's why I should tell her not to come? Or do I just let her come and plead ignorance after the fact? And I feel like neither could be achieved because I had this well choreographed dance where I'm putting clothes on, where the curtains open and we're sitting on chairs that are that have a back. So we're straddling it, and it looks like you've got 8 naked teenage boys on stage, and then we get up and reveal that obviously we got clothes on.
It's the clothes.
Boxes on, but yeah, Mum came to that assembly. She was sat up in the mezzanine and was the only parent there. Only parent there. There were teachers, I guess, who were also technically parents, but they were not parents of any of the children on stage for sure. So Mum, if you're watching, I'm sorry for re-triggering. That must have been a very traumatic experience for you. She was like, the rest of it was kind of funny. I couldn't really understand what was going on, but you know,
She was probably bedazzled by what was going on initially. The initial surprise is just like, oh, I just lost the track of all of this now.
Did you shave one leg down there?
Do you think that
She's like, that's where my razor went.
That's so funny?
I noticed those hairs a foot long. I didn't think they were mine.
Maybe she was upset that you didn't ask her to help you out.
There was foot long hairs on it. She said that
true.
can't be mine.
That can't, so this couldn't possibly. I mean,
not. It's only been a week.
Routine shaving is cheeky as fuck. But you know, I have also been a theatre kid for most of my life. So
hell yeah.
The amount of compromising positions that I've put myself in, and you know what? I might even grace the panel with a picture, is that we did Aladdin one year and I was the genie. I was the genie.
Yeah.
Of course. Aladdin's kid. Like, never had a friend. You know, it's a boss. You're covered it for a reason. And so I was the genie. Figure it, check it. And you know, they were really insistent on me being painted blue. They like, that was not a compromise for them.
Yes.
That was not a compromise. But you know what the saddest part is? We'll get there in just 1 second. But we were chilling, kicking it, having a good time, doing the theatre program. We love it. We had pretty much no money because everyone from the cast the year before quit when the director dropped out. So it was just all the people who actually wanted to be there, which is great. But a lot of them were like, you know, love you guys. Aladdin cast 2013.
Shout outs. Let him hear it.
My favorite part was when afterwards we had this tradition. We'd do a cast party at the end of a show. It's a pretty common tradition, you know, and ours was that we went to Noble Park Macca's and they hated us, like, with a real strong passion. If you've ever been to Noble Park Macca's, like, they're not very tolerant of people, and they're definitely not tolerant of children who sing really loudly and really obnoxiously. But the best part is that there's a little rule: when you leave the theatre, you have to take all your makeup off. It's like a pretty professional thing to do because, you know, you've got to separate yourself in the mind to the audience because you're no longer a character. You've left the show, blah, 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 reasons, who cares? But I somehow weaseled my way into, because it would take me 2 hours to get my blue off. On the last show, I was like to my teacher, I'm like, Miss, my family's outside and they're waiting for me, and I fucked off and I didn't take it off. Anyway, we went to Macca's and everyone was looking at me like, obviously I was blue. This is an insane thing to see. We went to Macca's, they're looking at me. I'm like, this is weird, but I love the attention. Do you think I took it off? No. Do you think I took multiple selfies in it with every member of the class? Absolutely. In a Macca's playground.
Oh yeah.
Probably the best story I've ever heard.
That's great.
I better watch, trust me. But I wore my makeup to Macca's just so I can have the satisfaction of people asking me why I wore blue makeup to Macca's. I don't know why I did it, but I was just like, it's a talking point. It's a conversation. And when you're like a weird nobody that only has a couple of talents and people only see you as those talents, you got to milk it. You got to milk it. Doesn't matter. Almond milk. It could be soy milk. It could be milk. What other kind of milk is it? Goat's milk. Could be cow's milk. Could be Milky Fresh, Milky Way. Yeah. Your mum's breast milk.
Could be your mum's breast milk. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I personally wouldn't. It's probably just dust at this point, but you know, do you?
Yeah. Well, I still like powdered milk. You know. we used to buy powdered milk. I have a history of powdered milk.
Do the LeBron James.
Oh, LeBron James. I just got powdered. That's my milk, yo.
That is definitely not milk. It's baby powder. It's all right, y'all.
It's all right.
I'm
not sure which is worse in this scenario: mum's powder or baby powder.
Oh, baby powder's worse.
I would rather drink.
Tastes horrible.
Baby powder called mum's powder.
Mum's powder. I don't even know if powdered breast milk's a thing. I can't imagine it would be.
I don't
I mean, it
think
could be.
so.
Is that
Come out of
what those like baby formula things are meant to be though? Is that like the closest
it's
that we've
not
come as a
actual-
species? It obviously
like-
isn't.
Yeah.
It's like a chemically altered. I say chemically, like scientifically altered formula that is meant to supplement the nutrients in mother's milk and then some. So that's why. I mean, a lot of people do like formula, but a lot of mums that I know are not like staunch one way or the other. I think it's just preference and how
My
you want to feed your
sister's
child.
recently had a kid, and apparently, like, there's a whole thing if you're a mum about it, and people get
Yep.
judgy if you're not on it, and like people have personal reasons for not breastfeeding at times. They might have issues with this, that, and the other, and they still get judgy looks and comments from people that think they know better than their own child. So
Motherhood is just one of
it's a
those
whole
things
thing.
that is mega judgy.
I'm glad I
Yeah,
never
sure.
have to worry about. Oh, actually, I'm not obviously going to sit there and breastfeed, but I could probably use it.
You could. I don't
Why
think they
would
get
you,
anything
Connor?
though.
Yeah.
Would they latch?
It really
I don't-
work.
You should claim
I mean, give it a
responsibility
crack,
for
I
such things.
guess.
I was fucked up. I should have done that.
Yeah.
I think they'll clamp on to that hot rig quite nicely.
Yeah.
You want me to leave? I can go.
Have baby, need milk. No boobies, very need milk. But Bogdan, where to get milk?
Yak milk is too wet. Almond have small nipple.
Hi, I am Bogdan, and I hear this a lot. Is why I have created Bogdan Nutritional Powdered Goat Milk. It's made of 100% goat milk and powdered in sterilized vet clinic. Bogdan Nutritional Powdered Goat Milk. Order now on bogdangoatmilk.uz and use code VIBEUNION10 for 10% off your order. Bogdan Nutritional Powdered Goat Milk is safe for human baby.
Sorry, guys. I just need like some
Not
of my
used to this
crystal, my
many
healing energy. I need.
compliments in
save me
brackets
from
question
this.
mark.
You do need some mending after this, that's for sure. This has been quite the I wouldn't say trauma filled, but it's we've been a little bit on the edge.
We've opened up a few.
We've been on the edge.
Been on the edge.
We've been on the edge.
Yeah.
If
Some
there's
serious
something that,
discourse.
if there's something that like really triggered you, so something that really affected you in that last segment, first off, sorry. But secondly, like
We apologize.
do let us know. Drop us a line. We're still trying to find out what our line is. I think that's the other thing. Like this is episode 2. We're not even at the end of it.
No lines
we're
for
still-
me, bruv. I'm clean.
No lines for you. That's good on you, man. Absolutely. Got to keep it clean. Got to keep it organic. It's all about finding your way, But absolutely, like let us know what's too far. What are we talking about that's good? What don't you rate? And put it all out there. I mean, all 6 of you that are listening and watching. Big
4
love.
of them are us.
4 of them.
You
Yeah.
know
are
what? There's
us.
at least
Thanks, Mum.
12 people. Roll your
Definitely 12.
R's, cross your T's.
I could probably get at least
Done.
one person to watch this, not myself. So if we could
Yeah.
all do that, then we're
He's
Not to
stronger than
brag,
one of your
but-
friends. You can hold him down.
I know at least 4
Hey,
people
I
who
got
are
a
going to
couple
check
friends.
this
The
out.
problem is they're all in this chat.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
You know what?
And then there's Dilly.
I take that last line back.
Poor DillyDave.
I was thinking of Dilly. I was thinking of Dilly.
No, I think honestly a lot of it's my fault. I'm like mad cheeky. I just, this is
Oh, you think-
honestly, this is
You
What?
think you're going to be the
What am I
reason that we're cancelled? Is that what you're alluding to?
I mean, I'm not going to put that into words. No
You're
one's
the
going to
X
edit that
factor.
together. Not today, Satan.
True.
But I mean, breastfeeding or no breastfeeding, we're just having some cheeky bands.
Where
Yeah.
did this come
That's
from?
what it's all about, and that's why we're here, We just want to chew the fat, spit it out,
Today's topics: breastfeeding. What do you think about it? Leave us a
You know
comment.
what?
Are
A lot
you
of people wouldn't
breastfeeder?
talk about it.
That's true.
Who's a breastfeeder?
Leave a comment if you're breastfeeding right now.
Oh my God. Wait, you're
Tell
asking
us
them,
if it's
of course.
formula or if it's titty.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us. You don't have to.
You don't have to, but if you feel compelled to comment, we're not going to delete that comment.
We're interested, I guess is what we're saying.
All I'm going
Not
to
in a
say,
weird way, just a curious way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in like we don't know you personally way, and
But we'd like to.
I think.
but we'd like to know if you feed your child using your milk jugs or not. That's what we want to know.
Yeah.
We can cut milk jugs. Milk jugs is, I mean, accurate, but not
you ever had
cute.
milk
Not
duds?
cute to say.
I think that
Milk
was well
duds.
articulated. I think that was very
Us-
well put.
Literal jugs of milk.
And I think
That's
we're
all
doing
they
this
are.
purely
They are
for market
nutrients
research,
for a
right?
child.
Some of them are just cups.
Yeah.
Cups of them.
I love boobies is basically what I'm hearing right now. I'm kidding. But
Amazing.
breastfeeding as a topic is just it's not really, I don't know, it's not really commonly talked about, especially
Bit taboo.
amongst
It's a bit
three
taboo.
dudes and a very lovely, luscious lady. Like, it's if
I
do
don't
say
feel
so.
qualified to speak on the powder,
Mhm.
Yeah. But like, I think things like this and talking in this way, even if it's banter or not, like I like that there's at least a conversation being had, even if it's funny, because some people would think it's too gross to joke about.
Mhm.
And it's like, you know what? It's not gross. It's
Can't
just
please
a mum
everybody.
feeding
I'm
her
sure some
child.
people, listeners, thinking we're all stupid, or at least a couple of us in particular are stupid.
Well, whoever said that, your mom's a
And then a
hoe.
couple of people
Like-
probably listening to this laughing along,
I
being
think-
like, yeah, I get it.
Absolutely. I think, Casey, you're right on the money there as well, in that, well, yeah, actually, Connor, you said it as well. People have different approaches. And guess what? Like, whether it's formula, whether it's breast milk, whether it's none of the above, like, your kid is alive and is operating in society and is like doing things. So you've obviously not messed up beyond the pale and like destroyed a human life. You have made a decision based on the facts given to you. And I think that's what we're all doing right now. Like every single person, like where we're at right now, everyone is doing the best they can with the information provided. We're definitely not a source of information between the four of us. Unmarried.
Disclaimer.
I don't think any of us are parents. Like we're not here to dispense like any kind of educational advice. We're just here like ripping into it. And like it feels good to have an exchange like this, to hear from like different perspectives on the matter, and then hopefully like hear back from the people that are listening and like educate. Like if I bring up stuff like this, it's generally like, I don't know about this, and can I say some stuff and have it be tested? Actually, like sort of starting to tangent away from, I guess, where we were, but I feel like that is the unspoken reason that controversial shit gets said. Like, I think some people actually say things, and maybe it's not their conscious thought process, but like, I feel like I've said things out loud where it's, oh, okay, you know what? It's a kid learning a new word. A kid learns a new word and is like, I don't know the context for this. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it until someone tells me like where it's meant to be placed. And generally it's swear words, and generally they get a really adverse reaction from someone, and they get told like, no, that's so bad. Or someone's pissing themselves laughing and they're like, oh, this is entertaining to people if I go around saying fuck a lot. So I'm a 3-year-old that says fuck a lot, and suddenly I'm like a TikTok star. Well, shit, that shit gets validated. But like you get to 14, like I know this about myself, like I'm 14-year-old me, 18-year-old me, 29-year-old me at this point. If I learn a new concept, if I learn a little tidbit and I want to test the waters with it, I think the mature or actualized way to go do that would be to like go and have a one-on-one conversation with someone I think is qualified, and like go and learn about it from them. Maybe the thing I might do is like make a post about it. It's an article I just read, and I'll post about it on my Facebook and see what people say, and that'll help me like conjure up my opinions.
Noticed you do that, and you don't look for controversy. You just post it and genuinely read the comments and go learn, which I admire about you. Like I've noticed there's been a few like not arguments, but like heated debates in a few of your posts, and I've enjoyed watching you mediate and say, all right, I see where you're coming from. I'm going to go look at what you've said or read what you've linked. And then you get the people in the comments that are like, I'm right, you're wrong. And no matter which side you're on, people think you're wrong. So for me, like, I'm just going to bring up this one time, this coronavirus bullshit, that everyone is either you're a sheep or you're an idiot. There's no in between, no matter which side you're on. And for me, I'm just staying out of it because I'm sick of negativity. I'm sick of never being able to win. Like, I just want to do me. And right now I'm doing me the best I can. I think most of us are. And yeah, it's hard to do what you're told when you're bored and lonely and depressed and shit, like we all are. But it's also hard to not do what you're told because it just creates extra stress the whole way around. And so I'm in this weird mix of just being so over this. But that's where I'm going with your debates in your posts and shit. Sorry, stuff. I gotta stop swearing. Your debates in your posts and stuff. I find it really good that you can sort of take things from different people rather than listen to who's right. You know what I mean? Like that's a really good skill to have, is to pick and choose. Like with the media, you get absolutely like bombarded with information that you just have to believe is right because it's on the TV. And then people go the opposite way. They say, well, if it's on the TV, it's probably bullshit. And I'm just going to go do my own research. And you got to find this balance between what you hear and what you can see and all that sort of stuff.
I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, man. In as much as it's a balanced way to be for myself now, it's definitely come at the expense of eating a lot of shit in arguments that I've started, where it's, I will just post up a thing and be like, this person is so wrong because of and we'll just get totally railroaded by every single person. They're like, you are so wrong because of this reason and this reason and this reason and this reason. And it's like, and at that time, I'm so defensive because I'm actually insecure about my ignorance. I wasn't even saying it to learn, but I've been given a whole bunch of information and education. And now I'm feeling insecure about the fact that I'm being attacked for a thing that I wasn't even sure of in the first place. Like, why are you attacking me for this opinion that I was just recycling or regurgitating from someone else I heard? And over time, I've come to claim that responsibility. Like if I'm regurgitating from someone else, then I need to go and study that. I need to go and understand that a little bit, because I'm now making that my opinion, or the person reading it doesn't know it's come from some other source. They don't know it's a Simpsons reference or some shit like that. So I appreciate you seeing that, Connor. It really does mean a lot.
I think critical thinking in general is just not necessarily like as widespread of a skill as I think sometimes. Like, not everyone innately has that desire or that want to discover and to learn. And, if something happens to them, it happens to them. There's a real sort of selfish perspective involved. I find sometimes with people who are willfully ignorant, that is, there's a real comfort and safety in what you know and what feels like a warm, cozy little blanket for you. It's very safe to believe the things that you've always believed and to not have them challenged. But it's another thing, and it requires another level of courage to be able to speak openly and honestly and candidly about your opinion, but to also be open to discussion and to have other input and ideas, because there have been many a time, just like Emkew, where I've personally taken someone on Facebook and been like, shit, this is a bit much to chew, but we're doing it. I've signed up, I've committed, so we're just making it happen. But having that willingness and that openness to discuss with someone why they think you're wrong or why you think they're wrong, or to people who feel really passionately
to their ideas.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just be open.
There's one quote that I'm going to just pop out that I love real quick. It's a lot of people hear what you say, but not many people listen to what you say. And there's a big difference between hearing and listening. Some people, they're so focused on what they're going to say as their next rebuttal that they don't actually listen to what you're even saying. They just focus on how they can one up whatever you say. All these NBA talk, I watch a lot of NBA debates and stuff. The GOAT, the greatest of all time, is something that's just ridiculously over argued and all that sort of stuff. And you're never going to change anyone's mind mid-debate. The whole thing is that they just want to one-up each other, and that's where the entertainment value comes from. And so in everyday lives, people are like, well, I'm going to win this argument. There's no like, well, maybe you're right. No, it's like, I'm going to win this argument.
It's victory and nothing. Yeah, first or last.
Do you think it comes with Ricky the terrain of the terrain of Facebook? And do you think like maybe the platform's the problem? And if we were to strike up such conversations in real life, face to face, it'd be so different, or you wouldn't, or it'll just be approached so different
because you'd have to pay more attention when people are talking rather than just skipping over what they say in a comment. You'd have to read their face, feel their passion, and you'd probably feel intimidated if they're making good points rather than just hiding behind your screen. And that could change the way things go.
Yeah,
well, totally. You remove yourself from the equation in that kind of situation. If you're doing something over a screen, it becomes impersonal. Like there's no empathy or regular kind of flow of conversation. Like obviously in person, there would have been something that led to that point or whatever. Like I think in a certain way in Facebook, like you're really coming in cold, and either it fires you up and it pisses you off. Like the objective is quite often like to get a reaction, gauge response.
Trolls.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just people, especially now, who have nothing better to do than to just mindlessly fill feeds with opinion. And I remember once I called someone out. I have no problem calling out a family member. If any of my family is watching this, I'm sorry if we've had an internet conversation discussion, but It's true. I honestly, for me, there's the truth, and I'm just a seeker of the truth. And if what someone's saying to me like doesn't feel right, or it sits in a weird place with me, I'm going to say something about it. But there's a way to go about it. To me, that's discussion. Arguments over like Facebook arguments is as it suggests. It's someone talking at you, saying how they feel very aggressively, usually in a very intense tone, and you're just kind of left to manage their response, but also manage your own response based on that. And you kind of have to navigate their emotions and their feelings, because especially when people get really passionate, like, for example, sports, the greatest of all time, like I can imagine people would think it's such and such and such and such, but at the end of the day, it's like music. I have my favorite song, you have your favorite song. I could sit here and tell you why I think my favorite song is the best. It is the best, probably, but there very much just has to be a two-way conversation. That's all I gotta say.
Well, this is the nutshell of the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate. Let's say, how do you measure the best song? Is it an Emmy? Is it ARIA? I don't even know how people measure things these days. But let's say Emmy, is that what you win when you make a good song?
That's daytime TV. You win a
Grammys.
A Grammy.
Is that the best one? Okay. Well, let's say you like a song that got nominated for a Grammy 6 times and it won 6. Yeah, never lost in the Grammys. But then you get another song that's my favorite that's been nominated 10 times, but only won 4. Well, my song's been nominated more, so I guess that means it's better. But then you're like, no, my song's been nominated and it's always won. Like it's never even lost. So clearly mine's better. You know what I mean? That's the whole debate is people are always on, there's no way to win it.
I guess a lot of it is like, so you go for it.
No, please. I've been waiting to hear from DillyDave on this.
Talk, Dilly.
That's, it's all about like picking your battles. Like, do you really want to win the battle of like this either potential troll or somebody who like is willing to have an engagement online for the sake of either stirring somebody up or like being seen as either virtuous or right? And like, if that's, the kind of person then you're up against in some online debate or discussion, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here in the first? We're not going to get anywhere. No one's getting anything out of this except for maybe some temporary entertainment. But it's like, it's not good for your data diet, I'll tell you that much.
No, it's not. I really dig that you've said that, because there's one example I really want to shout out is this Facebook page called Dr. Sarah Marzouk. And she is, a health professional. She's like great at the conversation. Like, she has been posting since the start of this pandemic, all the information up to date, like here's what's going on, here's this. She did a fantastic series on like why the Sweden example is actually like a false argument. Like a lot of people are like, shouldn't do lockdown because look at Sweden and all that kind of stuff. So very evidence-based in her approach. But I think my favorite element about what she does beyond the research, which is incredible, is the way that she monitors and sustains conversation on her posts. So if someone comes up and says, blah, 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 this and this and that, she's like, okay, give me the source, or actually I'm going to delete your comment. And so these people who are like coming up who have this alternative view, right? They are very ready to share a perspective that they probably copy pasted from somewhere. And she's like, okay, cool. You have this platform, my page of 30,000 likes and people engaging on every single post like crazy are ready to hear you, but you need to meet this standard. And the standard is simply, you're talking about a particular drug, show me the randomized controlled trials. These are like the industry-wide accepted standard in health professionals all over the world. So things like that. And I look at that and I'm just like, oh, that's amazing. That is that line between, because some people argue, oh, you're censoring people. And she's like, no, I'm not. This is my page. This is my forum, my platform. I'm allowed to delete, promote whatever comments I desire. This is what I've been given. You need to tout that stuff, go tout it somewhere else. But I'm inviting that conversation 100%. But this is the standard you need to meet. I'm giving you this evidence based on like this review. You need to meet me at the same level. Otherwise, I'm not interested in a conversation with you. And I feel like that's the kind of approach I aspire to reach. Like, I think it's so important to have because of, what we were saying, like, Connor, you asked that question really well. Like, is it, sorry, Dilly, that was you. Is it a curse of the medium?
Damn.
Is it because it's an entertainment arena? And if it is just for entertainment, what we're supposed to be, but suddenly we got real serious. If it is meant to be just for entertainment, then you need to flag that. You need to let people know this is a meme only. This thing with SpongeBob's face saying a bunch of stuff like does not qualify as an argument in in a thing that you're having with someone about, why you're choosing not to wear a mask or go out in public or some shit like that. Like, that's SpongeBob. I'm sorry, but if you're fake quoting SpongeBob at me, I have no respect for you. This is not discourse. So sorry, just wanted to shout out that big example, Dr. Sarah. Like, she's doing some real cool stuff, and
it sounds like
great out there.
That's the kind of thing that encourages the critical thinking that Mikado's talking about, and not enough platforms where people do that. I don't do that, but for me, I just don't fucking engage. Like, I just can't be bothered. Like, who has time? I appreciate people who are trying to mediate some kind of rational conversation online, but unless you're at, in the right place with the right people, it's just not going to happen, I don't think.
World is a very sensitive place.
I think there's also like a level of acceptance that you have to have. Like, before I was like, on the surface, probably not, but somewhere deep down, maybe I thought that I could change someone's opinion, or I could, show them, if I give them enough facts and I give them enough evidence and I write it in a compelling enough way, like why I'm correct. And I think, that's what you were saying, like setting the standard and setting like a bar for facts and accountability. And, if you say something in real life, you're accountable for it. If I said, DillyDave, you know what? Your mom's a hoe. You would be like, Mikado, what the fuck? Don't say that about my mom. Like,
back it up with research-based evidence.
Where's the facts?
Yeah, exactly. Your mom, I'm sure, is a lovely woman, Dilly. If she's watching this,
she's delightful. Yeah.
She's not watching,
I'm sure she's a lovely
and, we'll leave that to another
Raise this young kid,
Okay.
so she must be
All right,
around.
cool.
She is beautiful.
Cool. But I guess,
Love you,
I guess my
Eleanor.
point is,
Hey.
like in real life, though, you don't just say shit without consequences. So why is it suddenly
Totally.
okay online to masquerade and to be like this figure that people love to hate? Like I say that pretty broadly, but in terms of how people perceive people who don't present facts in their arguments, like I know personally, I don't take them as seriously. Like, there's less of a legitimacy involved. Like, if someone can tell me what they're saying and why they say it and why they believe it, then that's good enough for me. In most cases, common sense obviously involved. But, I really need someone to tell me why. I need I think this because ... I can't have it, oh, you're wrong, or you're stupid, or you're a bitch, or you're blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yep.
Tell me why.
It's like a personal attack and not a debate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So easy to dehumanize people online, but I think it's cool that that doesn't have to be the way. And a lot of the way that I've engaged with people online is quite the opposite. But it really comes down to really setting that up and curating those spaces. Hence the great segue to Vibe Union and what we try to do, I guess.
Wait.
Hey-oh.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, honestly, I think that's like the perfect segue into the meat and potatoes of today's podcast. Or if you're vegan or vegetarian, the potato and potato. Anyway,
Which is just as good.
the lentils and potato. I don't know. I was veggie for a year, but
Was it fun?
I might go back. Anyway,
Was it fun?
It was good for me, and I think I still cook veggie most of the time anyway. So it's not. It's just like I'm like a vegetarian who occasionally eats meat, but I'm not labeling. I'm not putting it out there. This is not the conversation today. The conversation
Very smart.
is
It's a sliding
wise.
scale. You don't have to be
Thank
one or
you.
the other.
exactly, and you know what? I think it's a conscientious decision that I've made to reduce the amount of meat that I intake, and I think that's a healthy thing to do. So
100%.
Fucking good
Yeah.
on you,
That's-
mate.
if you're gonna
That's the
eat
ticket.
meat,
Fair.
have a little cheeky think about it first. But
Think about
in
which meat
terms
to buy.
you're in the calls and you're lining up like, ooh, shit.
Let me have a
What
cheeky
do I
thing.
get?
Let me
Let me have a cheeky
Meat
thing.
or nothing.
Mm.
LeBron James, PewDiePie, half body of Baphomet. What do these strong men have in common? GOAT. If you want your baby to be strong like GOAT, you must feed it Bogdan nutritional powdered goat milk. Is extracted from only strongest goat mothers fed with best experimental steroids. Order now on bogdangoatmilk.uz and use code VIBEUNION10 for 10% off your order. Only one question. Goat milk? Bogdan nutritional powdered goat milk. Make baby strong like goat.
You want to let us know what we're talking about next, Casey? Something that's true to you?
Absolutely. True to me, yes. I just wanted to bring a topic to the table for everybody to discuss about the inclusivity of the Melbourne music scene, specifically hip hop, because most of us operate in that genre. And it's very much something that's close to my heart, and I've had a lot of experience with it. So I know Emkew had a few words that he wanted to say to introduce this topic, but I might leave it to him to let you know the meat and potatoes, or the potatoes and potatoes we've established.
The potatoes and potatoes. I appreciate that, Casey, because when this thing started happening, you were one of the first people I reached out to, because as it's funny, this whole conversation is kind of rounded around this example a little bit. Something that I'm obviously not equipped to raise a stink about, but I feel like is going on as a problem, is the lack of space given and like promotion of female artists in hip hop, especially in Melbourne, especially in like the live scene. And that's something that I sort of intuitively feel more than I know. So I can't sit there and go like, this needs to change. Instead, it's like, hey, venue that I'm about to work with, do we feel like the fact that your lineups so far have been very male dominated could potentially be a problem? Like, is there room to bring female acts on? By the way, I know a bunch of like really talented female artists. I work with a bunch of them in this group called Vibe Union, cheeky, cheeky, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But like, can I send you some names? And maybe if you dig any of their sounds over mine, can you like put them in front of me? Like I'm not here to take space away from people who I feel like are more deserving of it. And their response was actually quite astounding to me. Like I was kind of personally attacked because I was seen to be like either like virtue signaling in some kind of way. They were offended that I was apparently like ignoring their efforts to be more inclusive of women in their spaces and things like that as well. And I was just like, hey, like it was that Facebook argument thing. Like I feel like maybe I had not communicated in a way that made it clear to them I wasn't there to attack them. And then as a venue, their response was very much about like defense. We need to demonstrate that we're like so on top of this, and actually you're the problem. And like through an extended phone call, getting to a point of like, oh, right. Okay, I can see that we're all trying to do the right thing here. Okay, cool. All right, send us that list of artists. Okay, let's see what we can do on our end. Like, let's try and, create some more space and create some more nights. But initially, this like denial that the problem was even there. And just to kind of recap on what we were talking about before, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten to that point. And I feel like I have a decent relationship with this venue and the people involved, because rather than like kick up a stink in public in any kind of way, even this, I feel uncomfortable doing this. It feels like I'm airing some shit. I'm really not. I'm like, I was just like, let me talk to the people. Let me send an email to one person. They CC'd it onto their bosses and so forth. And then I got to speak to those bosses. At no point was I like, this needs to be, everyone needs to know the name of the venue. I'm not going to talk about that. Like, I'm not here to name and shame nobody. I'm here to talk about like,
well, it's not relevant.
Yeah, exactly right. And like, meanwhile, since that conversation, that venue has gone on to do some really great things. Like in that space, in other spaces, like it's terrific. So I guess that incident in particular was something that stood out. It was a moment that, Casey, like I called you as one of the first people when I was like, hey, Casey, is this a problem? So I guess, recapping that, like, Casey, is this a problem?
Casey/Mikado says, yes, it's a problem. I mean, it's one that I've personally encountered. For me, the trouble and the roadblocks, I mean, venues and gigs are a major part of that. But a lot of it, I was surprised, comes from the people of hip hop. It comes from the talent of hip hop, the musicians, the artists. And sometimes it can be a little bit difficult because there's not necessarily an intent to disrespect or to make someone feel uncomfortable or unincluded. I don't think that's necessarily the intention, but I think there's like a series of bad habits and traits that have been copied or been replicated or mimicked or whatever you want to call it, that kind of they're stuck now. They're a bit of a mainstay. Like, for example, something that I personally feel really passionate about is like, because a lot of people say, especially with the WAP tune that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion did. It was Megan, wasn't it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was like mental blank for a second. So Cardi and Megan did this tune, and obviously if you've heard it or if you know about it, or if you have an internet connection. Or TikTok, yeah, exactly. A lot of people have a bit to say about it, especially because there seems to be a line of what is celebrating and embracing sexuality versus using your tits or ass or whatever, big fat quotation marks, to sell. And honestly, my personal opinion on that, I mean, I would love to open that particular question up to the group, but my personal feeling on that is there is a sense of empowerment in owning your body and trusting yourself and empowering yourself. I don't use that word lightly, by the way, empower. You really have to imbue yourself with power and confidence. I sometimes feel like I need the strength of gods and goddesses almighty to get through some wicked times in some interesting situations. But I think as long as it comes from a place of being genuine and wanting to celebrate celebrate can be a strong word for a song called Wet Ass Pussy, but really it's about taking it back, because you see a lot of women on the covers of hip hop albums, but are they in them? Are they writing them? That's the question that I would know. So I feel like that's a good launch point, potentially, to open it up to someone. But I think just to summarize that very quickly, I mean, I really could talk about this all day, but on that particular note, that becomes about female tokenism and about whittling down a woman to her visual appearance, her aesthetic, how she presents herself, and a lot can be gleaned from that. A lot can be assumed from that. And when other people use women as props, that's when I have an issue. But if a woman chooses to present herself in such a way, good on her. Somebody, let's talk this.
Yeah, I guess coming off that a little bit, I wanted to go down a sort of quite specific route, and I want to sort of road test this theory. And it's actually about scarcity. So there's this thing of like, if it's evidently quite marketable to be hypersexual.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Right? To be hypersexual as a female artist. And so it's deemed to be like the quickest and easiest route to success. So you do that thing, but it's only because the door is so freaking narrow for female artists to get involved. And again, please, let me know if you feel like that's not the case, but the door is so narrow that the only ones that get paid attention to are the ones that are grabbing attention by any means necessary. And there are different ways to do that, mind you. There are like other artists who grab attention in other ways, and they can be like insane lyricists, like the people who do lots of like Godzilla, like that bit where Eminem goes absolutely crazy on Godzilla and they like copy that, or they do covers of things like that with insane fast raps. Those female artists also rise to the top, but then they maybe are lacking in substance in terms of what their message is. But it's like the door is artificially closed to be so narrow that only a certain few who are very attention grabby can get through. And then those ones who do get through are criticized like fucking crazy because they use those methods to get there. And it's like, you're only accepting 1% of all candidates. The ones that are going to get in are going to be the ones that like play by hook or by crook. If the door is open, and the space is there, we live in like an infinite stream of internet and of data and of things that we can consume. Just like open that door up and create that platform for people, and you will find that there is an audience for all those different shapes and flavors and sizes and tastes and sounds. Is sort of my opinion on that.
I was going to say 100% correct. I very much I mean, correct me. I very much agree with that. And really on the topic of scarcity, that's something that you hit on. I think we might have even had a discussion about it before. But I think personally where I see a real lack or a need or a want in our slice of the music industry is just seeing more females, more women, more female identifying artists, because for me it's very much that you see a model and a pillar of success that you can attain to because you've seen those women do it. And how they do it is through the attention of the male gaze. Like, you know, that's it's very that. And because women, when you think women in hip hop, you think the women in the music videos, you think the women on the covers, you know, you don't necessarily think of really strong, fantastic female artists. I mean, a lot of people can list, you know, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, all fantastic contributions to hip hop. But, you know, in terms of understanding an artist and being able to accept and enjoy their music, I think a lot of those have wide appeal and wide access because of how they present themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But by the same token, you think about the average Joe. Like, imagine 16 years old, you want to be a rapper, you're a guy, maybe you're white, I don't know, and you have lots of people you can look at. You know, there's a wide branch. There's lots of different sounds, lots of different divisions. You could name off the top of your head so many more male rappers than you could female rappers, and that's just purely because there's not enough mainstream representation. Let alone for you know, women of color of all creeds and having I was gonna. I was. Yeah. Oh no, I was just going to transition into a little side point because I know that's a really broad topic, but you know, respecting and understanding that, you know, the music that I make doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the people in America, the African Americans who built and told their stories, who created these narratives, who created this sound. Like, those are my heroes. There's so many, like Yo-Yo, Queen Latifah, Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim. There's so many women whose lyrical tenacity and their drive absolutely astounds me. But you don't see people talking about it because because we're so far removed from the origin. It's not necessarily fully discussed. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled on enough about that.
Well, you touched on something in there. Is it's like there need to be perspectives to it. So you know, you mentioned a couple demographics. So like, Dilly, you're white and a guy. Like, where do you stand on this? And like, what does this look like to you? I hope that wasn't a surprise for you.
Please.
What does this look like to you?
Surprised every day.
And yeah, how has hip hop, how has the Melbourne scene looked to you? Like, I know Casey's talking about seeing a lot of closed doors or narrowly open ones. For me, I feel like I'm blinded by probably a degree of privilege by virtue of being a guy. Like, I've had generally a lot of confidence in terms of the spaces I walk into. So I don't feel like I've been ever discriminated against based on my race. Like, I kind of open my mouth and people go, that's an Aussie accent. That guy gets it. Like, whatever, move on. But Dilly, like, what's your take on that side of things?
Well, you know, I think with the Melbourne scene, there's definitely not a lack of talent. And I think there's definitely not a lack of actual venue or space. There's just, the lack of attention. Like, the attention isn't being pointed in a more expansive direction. Like, I come into my position in terms of coming into hip hop and making hip hop music is almost like, it's almost parody-esque, but then it's almost like, you know, I'm doing it because I don't like a lot of the shit that is perpetuated, you know, in the mainstream that I just think is fucking toxic and just destroys cultures and people. And like, I think a lot of it is like real dangerous and like real shitty. But like, my experience in the Melbourne scene is, God, if you're guided with a little bit of good intent and consciousness, you'll be able to find the right people who will be able to help you unlock the right doors for you. You know, like my experience of going to the show, like hip hop shows in Melbourne, is generally seeing the same thing over and over and over again a lot of the time. Like, you know, not just qualifying. I know rappers here in Melbourne that I think are world class, that I just think are fucking world class, you know, crazy talent. But they're not the people that get the most, you know, attention or spotlight on it. And like, maybe that's just because there's too many fucking rappers and too many people who, you know, play with the art and have unreal expectations of what attention they're actually going to get and why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, like, you know, for me, when it comes to hip hop shows, it's a lot of guys rapping about dicks and drugs, and it's a lot of girls kind of positioning themselves. Yeah, exactly. And then a lot of girls positioning themselves like not quite in contrast to, you know, it's like, it's just their version or take of it. But then I also find a lot of nights where there's female MCs involved, the way that it's marketed is very gimmicky. It's like, it doesn't try to normalize it as it should have and as it should be. And I feel like, you know, in terms of the roots, it's always probably been very level in terms of talent, right? Talent in the talent pool.
It's like that, like it's an exception to the rule rather than the rule, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's almost like it's a surprise that she can rap good or whatever. Where like I know that like plenty of female MCs killed the shit out of me. I'm not that good, but
I think there's like a myriad of talent. I'm sick of copping the, oh, you want to do a hook for me? No, I don't. I don't. Do you want to be on this track? Oh yeah, I'll do the rap and you can sing. No, I'll rap. You can sing.
It's gonna be the other way around if we do anything, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Now I'll make you rap, Connor. Swear.
I want to rap.
I don't want to rap.
I think a part where I get really confused and cloudy, calling back to the conversation of like empowerment versus sexualization. I find that very difficult for female artists to be able to really convey that properly and sell that. I'm not saying like, you know, I'm yet to be convinced, but when it comes to like general public perception of, you know, the feminine MC energy and whatnot, God, I just feel like, sure, like that might be the path that's most traveled in terms of embracing, you know, the body as the vessel to capture the male's gaze, but then that just perpetuates the male's gaze and the need for more of that. So, you know, it feeds that feedback loop. So, yeah, I mean, I think it just takes more individuals who are keen to, you know, run up promoters and just, no.
Take that initiative, but.
Yeah, just take that initiative and make your own nights because you can make your own nights if, you know, you really can. And if you want, like you don't really have to even reveal who's on the bill or whatever. Just say it's this certain thing tonight and fucking go ahead with it. And then don't give people a choice, you know.
I really dig that. So in that there's a fair bit, but I think that the note around sexualization and the lyrics that, you know, seem to grab the most attention, like Cardi B herself said it really well in the wake of a lot of criticism that she copped. People are like, Cardi B, why can't you rap about some real shit? Why can't you rap about your life? And she's like, one, I am. This is my life. She used to be an exotic dancer. That's what she has done. This is the life that she's lived. But two, she's like, none of you want to hear that real shit. Like there are artists out there, and she named up Rhapsody, who, because of Cardi B, I've gone and listened to, and I'm like, holy shit, this person is like hella talented. But she's like, Rhapsody's out here like going toe to toe with like your J. Cole's, your Kendricks, like in terms of talent, but you guys don't want to hear that. You want to hear WAP. So I'm making it. You guys are lapping it up. So I guess the question then becomes like, again, bringing it back to scene, and Dilly, you really did touch on it really well. Connor, I want to put this question to you. Whose responsibility is it to put attention towards like more artists and creating that space? Like, is it down to the artists themselves to like go and generate that space for themselves and talk about the right things? Is it down to the promoters and the venues, or is it down to the consumer themselves, who I think in these conversations often get seen as like this mindless body of zombies that are just, their attention is being pulled whichever way someone else is forcing it. But like, who do you feel like
Someone's
has
got to
the
grab
most?
the attention. Well, I
Yeah.
feel like there's no black or white. It's a mixture of all of the above. I feel like if people aren't putting themselves in a position to be taken seriously, then they're not going to be taken seriously. And people who are only listening for the wrong reasons, you're never going to change their mind anyway. So they don't really matter. The people who want to hear the real stuff will find it. And the people who want to listen to that shit will find it. So I just think in the end, there's no right or wrong answer on how to make it different or quote better, because that's a perspective. You know, some people might love that and think it's better how it is than having people talk about real stuff. They don't want to listen to music for that. They want to listen to music to party and think about hot chicks and whatever floats their boat. So it's a really tough question to answer, because I think everyone's just got a different opinion on it. So
That was well put
be
in
honest, I'm not
terms
really
of,
sure.
you know, people are going to seek out what they are seeking out, and you can't change that. So that's, I guess, what I was saying before is like, is that fundamentally like a societal, cultural thing, which is like establishing the needs or the demand for that particular content, which I think is absolutely perpetuated by most media that we consume and is, you know, on the big platforms.
Do you guys mind if I jump in?
Yeah, get in.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to throw this in there. I very much, where I come from is not where I'm coming from rather, is that it very much feels like there is a right and a wrong kind of woman to be in this industry. Either you tap into that hypersexualized nature, and I fully agree that people will seek out what they want to seek out and will enjoy what they want to enjoy. But in terms of making space and opening the floor up to whoever's talented to step onto it, I think that they're very much with like, we got to break down this idea of, do I follow the likes of Cardi B, whatever, Nicki Minaj, like someone that is hypersexualized, can rap like a mad dog, but still hypersexualized? Or do I present myself in a more masculine way, present myself like Young Ma, for example? Like, you know, I think they're very much considered to be not a female MC because they present themselves in a more masculine way. They're not. It's like, do I have to sacrifice being my true sensual, not necessarily hypersexualized self all the time, or, you know, my more masculine, intense side? Because I naturally have a deeper voice, especially when I rap. I purposefully tried to make my voice higher earlier in my career, my songwriting, because I was really concerned that people were going to think that I sounded queer or I sounded like a man, because these are things that have come up quite frequently and things that I have to take into consideration. And it's a mental burden that is unnecessary. I don't want it. Why can I not just step up onto the stage and be myself? Do I have to present myself in such a way just to gain the respect? I'm not even talking about making it at this point, because, you know, you step up on the stage and you only have a couple of seconds for people to get the cut of your jib and understand, you know, who you are, what you're about, and then you start to open your mouth and you do the thing, and then people figure it out. So, you know, I very much feel like there's an internal debate where everything that I do becomes about my gender, and it's really exhausting.
And
especially
choosing A or B.
Yeah, it's either be more as feminine as you can be or as masculine as you can be. There's no grace in between, and that's what really rustles my jimmies, guys. That's what rustles my jimmies.
I do see that. I find an increasing amount of artists who are increasingly harder to categorize and label, making appearances and becoming more present. I feel like now there's been more movement towards that direction, you know, in the past 5 odd years, then there has been, in quite
we've made some
time.
mad strides in the past, like 5 years.
And I'm not trying to
100%.
make some argument where it's like, oh, you've progressed enough and that's enough. I'm not fucking going down that direction.
Let's stop. You've got enough independence now, right? You can go.
Too
Yeah,
intimidated
cool.
now.
I just
Exactly.
yeah. I think, there's when it comes to the Melbourne hip hop scene, there's much more on offer. There's much more than meets the eye, right? Like we see the
Absolutely.
same thing, but there's a lot more. So I completely agree that like whatever way any artist as an individual or collaborator or collective, any way you can find an opportunity to, do things differently. But I would say, first and foremost, just try and be yourself. Like that sounds horrible that you feel like you have to choose between A and B, because I don't even know who I am, and I'm just trying to figure out like I don't even know what I'm presenting on stage, like it's just, it's so complicated.
Being yourself
we're all trying to figure it out.
Super hard.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Is your baby always crying since her mother sent to Siberian work camp? If she doesn't have cholera, is good chance she is thirsty for milk. But Bogdan, I am man and do not lactate. If you are man, solve problem. Solution is Bogdan nutritional powdered goat milk. Is made of 100% goat milk and now contains less than 1% lead. Order now on bogdangoatmilk.uz and use code VIBEUNION10 for 10% off your order. Bogdan nutritional powdered goat milk. Good for goat, good for baby.
I think I really dig that. And, getting up on stage, being an artist is very much about the exploration of yourself. When I sit down to write lyrics, I'm putting a mirror up to myself, and whatever comes out is something going on in here. But I think what we've uncovered, what I'm definitely sort of seeing in amongst this conversation, is for some people it might be a bit easier to simply go up and explore. And for some people, and Casey, what I'm hearing from you especially is you don't feel like you get the luxury, you get afforded the opportunity to get up and just explore before there's already a bunch of stuff telling you what you can't do. It's like either you get up and you can just do whatever, like Dilly, you're a mad freestyler and you can go up and do that. But for you to go up and do that, your mind is clear and devoid of like limitations or expectations, or at least to a lesser extent. Casey, on the other hand, you're talking about you getting up there and like 98% of possible things you could say or do are taken away from you because of expectations that you're going to be either A or B. And I think ultimately it's like for anyone that's listening that's feeling like they don't know how to go about this, and I know I've been through this and I'm still grappling with it, is you feel like you have to be either A or B when in fact the solution is to be yourself. And perhaps that's the way that I think everyone can kind of take it home. And I think that is easier said than done as advice. And perhaps the way that we can continue the work that's happening is to continue to promote artists, to continue to put out our own music that is more authentic to ourselves. I'm just wondering if, like, I know something that I want to put out there for anyone that's listening is something that helped change my perception of the music I should make was listening to broader voices within the scene, within the genre of the music. So some artists I can name off the bat that really helped me do that is Curse of Dialect, straight out of Melbourne. TK Meidzer is another incredible act in Australia. I can't remember if she is from Melbourne or Sydney. My apologies on that front. But Sampa the Great is a freaking phenomenal Melbourne artist. Sampa is terrific. Remy, like the two of them have worked together, like world class. Absolutely.
I love even like local level artists, even like it always gets me excited to see like the homegrowns, because I'm like, yes, it's awesome.
That's it. Is like if you turn on the radio, you wouldn't believe that there is this much talent that looks different, that sounds different right here in our own city, let alone on the national stage. Because generally you think about Aussie hip hop and you get bombarded by the same names like Hilltop Hoods. They made it, but like they made it at a time when they were different. But like Curse of Dialect was doing hip hop long before Hilltop Hoods existed. And you won't hear their name muttered or uttered. They were the first Australian group to be signed to a US hip hop label, like the first Australian hip hop group to be signed to a US label. They're meanwhile like doing their own thing, hanging out, doing little gigs for mates. Like I'm really blessed and a little bit biased. Like I've hung out with Adam and I really rate him and who he is, raceless. But I think what shifted that focus for me was like, oh, there are these voices. There is this representation. And it's because I went and sought out those artists and sought out those people who were just doing it. Not they've made it, so therefore they're the standard. They're just doing it. So I strongly encourage anyone that's listening, go suss out Curse of Dialect, go suss out TK Mizer, Sampa the Great, Kai, you mentioned, Remy, like there's so much
Pookie,
talent.
she's from Footscray.
Pookie, oh my God.
You know Sin Santos, or shout out Sin Santos?
Sin Santos, absolutely.
He works
man.
with my producer Spike. He's mentoring him. Spike's mentoring Sin, and he's crazy talented.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Maybe
We're
we
all
should do
getting mentored. I love it.
a playlist on like that would be cool. A cool little playlist to do. Okay, yep, Mikado.
It's already made. I don't even know what you're saying. Like I think
Say less.
Melbourne hip hop.
Emkew, I'm a little mad that you took my point there about seeking out a secret.
So
no,
sorry.
it's okay. No. Relax, it's fine. But I think what I was literally gonna say is that the best thing for my soul, because something happened, and like just to touch on it lightly, because I do want to leave this on a bit of a fluffier, higher note, but you know, the bitch mentality, the word bitch very much got me down. I was very, very emotionally distraught. There was a bit of inner turmoil because the word wasn't directed towards me necessarily, but I had an issue with the way it was being used in its context. And I think context is very important. Like, I'll just put it out there and say I don't necessarily have a problem with people using the word bitch in music, because bitch can mean a lot of different things. Context is ultimately what determines it. But I have a problem with bitch when it becomes about, let me phrase this. I have a problem with the word bitch when it becomes about the gender and not about the behavior. It very much becomes about putting a label and a name to negative behavior that you don't like in a woman. A confident woman, she's a bitch. Angry woman, she's a bitch. A woman who knows what she wants, she's a bitch. Guaranteed, she'll always be called a bitch. And the one thing that I found so cathartic was being like, let him think you're a bitch. Just let him. What's the harm in people being intimidated by you? And not necessarily being intimidated by you, but when you're sometimes in a position like me, when I don't always feel like I have the upper hand, just allowing myself to be angry and to feel some form of wrath and to be true with my feelings, but to put it in a way that is cathartic. And I can be like, to anyone listening, you know, I'm not necessarily going to alienate someone who doesn't agree with what I'm saying, but because they'll still enjoy it, they'll still vibe, they'll have a good time. But for the people who are listening and their ears are open, you know, what Connor was saying, the difference between hearing and listening, same as between looking and seeing, is that you got to be tuned in. You got to understand what you're looking for. And the problem for me is that, like, I don't want to have to so actively seek these people out. I just want them to come to me. Is that being selfish? Is that being lazy? Maybe. But you know, I when I do find it, the satisfaction, unbelievable. I very much will put a playlist somewhere. It'll happen. So far, it's called Stone Cold Foxy Brown. Play on the word Stone Cold Fox. I love it. Hey. But it, for me, there is one song, and I highly recommend everyone listen to it. It's called UNITY by Queen Latifah. Oh. And I've played it for everyone because I love it so much. But her opening line in the song is, "Who are you calling a bitch?" And you know what? And then she tells this story about how, like, these guys grab her butt and about how she's in a relationship and she doesn't want to see herself getting hit by her future children's father. And she doesn't want that for herself. She, in that moment, is like, I'm pissed. Somebody is catching this wrath. But the groove and the melody is so mellow. Like, it's got the smoothest jazz, the smoothest saxophone. And to me, that perfectly sums up what I'm talking about. Yes, there are icky parts and there are gross parts, especially when we talk about something like this, because really what we're talking about is sexism ultimately. And no one wants to admit
said
that
it, sister.
Sexist. Hell yeah. But no one wants to admit it. And that's fair. That's fine. Fair enough. It's a yucky topic. But when you have the ability and the faith in yourself, I'm really just speaking to musicians, but to really just womankind and all kin who feel unappreciated or unaccepted and unheard, the best thing I did was just embrace how angry I was. And once I did that and I put it somewhere and I gave it a space and I respected it, that's when I felt powerful and I felt confident. And a lot of the time, I don't think women are given the grace to be angry because they're afraid of being called that pesky little B word, bitch, 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 hoe, slut, whatever. So all I'm going to say is, however you're feeling, if you're an artist and you need to express what you need to express, regardless of if it's going to sell, like who cares? You can release stuff on the constant, on the daily. It's not the 90s anymore. These aren't Napster days. Like we can make it happen. Don't be afraid of feeling a feeling, anger, sadness, all feel gross, but incredibly important to express, especially through music. So all I'm going to say is don't be afraid to let them call you a bitch.
Don't be
That's
afraid to
huge.
be yourself. Back around to the original point we're making is you got to
And
find your
yeah.
own way and be yourself. Because, I mean, I don't know whether it's me, I'm an empath and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure most of us creatives are, but you can really sense the insincerity when people are pretending. And I see these people on the stage and I can feel their energy is genuine and I can feel their energy is insincere and they're trying too hard to be someone they're not. And I think just why are you putting on that accent? Like some people naturally sing with an accent because all they hear is American music or whatever. That's fine. That's cool. But if you do it to sound cool and not just be yourself, that's like the line. You know what I mean? All these people doing different things just because that's what they think other people want to hear.
Yeah,
Like
it's known
I listen to
territory.
these people that
Mentality.
play at venues and they just completely, their character is just completely fabricated. It's not a real thing. It's not who they are. They're not representing themselves. They're representing what they want people to think they are. And I can feel that that's not real. And
that's
really
not to
turns
say
me
that like
off.
people can't like play the character well. And
Yeah.
like I think that's a cool thing to have, like that alter ego or character. But if it's like if you're presenting,
It's still part of you.
right? Yeah, I completely
Well,
agree. But
I'm
if you're
an Emkew
presenting
wearing
as
this ratty orange wig. So you can be
You made it
yourself.
look glorious. Yeah.
I mean, dead set. I'm not even, that's not a joke. This is the wig.
I've seen you perform in it.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's fun. And the thing is it's very much about that. It's about authenticity. To me, it's authentic to slap on an orange wig and go up and have some fun.
And I'd
It
feel
might
that
not work
vibe.
for
I wouldn't feel like you're putting on the wig to impress anybody. That's the difference.
exactly. And that's the point. I did it because it made me happy and it made me feel cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, who's got orange hair in this joint? Me, bitch.
Yep.
What can you do?
You use that
Anyway,
word you
sorry.
don't like.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm taking it back, baby. That's what's up.
Yeah, empowerment. It's all good.
That's what it is. But, for me,
Get the head bitch in charge.
we'll get to that later. Anyway, sorry, Dilly. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all cheese.
Oh, cheese?
That's all cheese. That's all grated. It's all shredded.
Parmesan. Bit of
behind
bougie.
us.
Sean.
The smell is sharp, but the feels are strong.
Yeah.
Through.
The feels are definitely strong. I think that was such a good conversation. Like I definitely learnt a fuck ton. And getting to hear your perspective, getting to hear what that actually feels like to be shut out, to have things you're not allowed to do that no one has explicitly said to you. You just kind of had to internalize these like limitations before you even get up on a stage, before you can start being yourself. That sounds crippling. That feels crippling. And I'm sorry that happens. I know that there are so many artists out there that do feel that do feel shut out and shut down by industry, by expectations, by media. And I think what every single one of us has said by now is you have permission to be yourself. I mean, it's not ours to give here as a collective, as a podcast or whatever, but you definitely have permission. You are allowed to be yourself, regardless of what you feel anyone else is communicating. So long as you recognize that, you're going to come to a place of greater authenticity and comfort within yourself. So I think that's a way that makes sense to me. And I feel like even as I was saying it, I really needed to hear it for myself as well.
Well surmised.
So if that's struck a tone with you, if you really feel that vibe, then personally, I feel like what we have here in Vibe Union.
It is a collective, though.
It is a collective.
Vibe Union Collective.
Vibe Union Collective at gmail.com. Hit us up. That's our ethos. That's what we're about here, is like, come and be yourself. You're allowed to be yourself. Every voice, every stem, everything that you contribute grows what we are and who we are. It enhances and evolves our DNA.
We don't want any fake plants.
No fake plants. We need that organic shit. We need it to grow. So it's been phenomenal. Thank you, especially Casey, for sparking that conversation, suggesting it for this theme. And yeah, if anyone out there is hearing this and has some ideas, has some thoughts, I personally like. Yeah, so please drop us a line. And I just want to say as well, I think all four of us at some point in that conversation probably felt a little bit uncomfortable, probably felt a little bit challenged. I know that there was stuff I was saying where as I'm saying it, I'm like, I don't know if this comes off in the right way to Casey. Like, I don't know, as I'm hearing this from Connor, if I necessarily agree. But I just want to say I really respect and admire the fact that we all was super mature and level-headed and open to hearing, really receptive to this conversation. So just want to give kudos to all of y'all. I'm feeling a bit proud of myself for not interrupting anyone when I felt challenged by what was said. And I think that that's a really critical thing to recognize in each of you. So well done.
Courageous.
We're not a debate show. People can just take what they like we've said and what we've said that they like and just roll with it,
Exactly. We're not be all end all on the conversation. I mean, I just feel that it's good to talk about things like this, especially because it's not necessarily discussed a lot amongst peers, especially in this industry, hip hop Melbourne. So thank you guys for giving me the space to do that. Obviously, there's so much to talk about. You really can't fit it in to this allotment. So if there's something that you feel like I should have spoken about or that I should have said, believe me, I'm probably thinking it, or it's in my journal somewhere. But believe me, I think the main takeaway is that we are on Team Humanity here, and we're on Team Talent, and that's what Emkew was saying about the vibe. I was going to call it Vibe Collective, Vibe Union. The Vibe Union ethos is that it's a very come as you are, but the people who come, they always have something to bring. And that's all it is. That's all it is. Think of the music industry as a big potluck, and everybody has to bring a dish, and you just want to make sure that your dish is as good as your dish is going to be, because there are lots of dishes. There's a potato salad, there's steak, there's an egg salad that no one's eating, but we respect the egg salad. We respect the egg salad.
Yeah.
Team Humanity, baby.
Hell yeah.
I love you guys.
I love you
all.
too. I love all of you.
This is wonderful.
Delightful.
We'll probably cut this out.
No, I reckon it all stays in. This is gold. Yeah. Speaking of, expanding our sonic palettes and hearing from new artists, Dilly, I believe we've got a couple songs to hear tonight.
Yeah, so I've been given some hot little gems by a couple people in this Zoom meeting. Mikado, what did you shoot through to my DM earlier?
To your DM? Well, I mean, I know I kind of shot you an email, but my DM included quite a tasty unreleased single that has been sitting there just because haven't had time to re-record the vocals. Corona messed up the plans, but yes, this one is called HBIC, and this very much is an excellent segue from what we were talking about. I'll let you figure out what HBIC stands for, but essentially it's about reclaiming your power, and that was the first song that I wrote where I felt powerful.
Huge. Let's hear it.
Că face la înghețată. Ce face? Înghețată și știi cum e.
Așa și?
Lasă mai bine mâine că suntem și obosiți acum, ne mai iau și ăștia la programul.
După stingire.
Cum?
După stingire.
Dar ce te superi?
Pull out your cameras, take a snap of me. I usually charge $20, but this one's for free. Got Tanama-like capabilities, but I can't prove it unless you're underneath me, unsheath me. But your time is up. If you were gonna make a move, I'd see you wind it up. Mikado's had enough with you humming, trying to tell me what's up. What the fuck? Make me question myself, undressing myself until I drop it down and I impress myself. Stab you with a stiletto, clean up the mess yourself. Ask any other lover, they'd have some stories to tell about my personality. Everybody's got a niche, and this one's for me. Not everybody's a bitch, but if you're asking Mikado, she'll tell you who it is. HBIC. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC.
Can I see a manager, please? I'm not satisfied with the bars that I'm getting. I'm looking for women's rhymes and time sinks that I won't be forgetting. And when am I being served? A booty buffet where the heck are the words? Women with curves. Can you check in the back? I need another verse. Thanks, hun. Oh no, not that one. No, wait. Well, okay.
Call me Dominique, cause I'm a control freak. Or you can call me officer, cause I'm always on the beat. Either way, you're getting cuffed and I'm the one who has the key. I wear it around my neck like it was Cartier bling. Cherry bomb. Lick it up from the tip of your tongue. You don't know me yet, but I'll soon be number one. You'll be shooting for me like the pop of a gun. HBIC. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. The head bitch in charge. I'm the head bitch in charge. I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. What motherfucker? I'm the head bitch in charge. HBIC. HBIC.
I see.
So good, yo. Damn.
That was tough.
What am I, everyone?
You're the head
sorry.
bitch in charge is what you are.
Yeah, I worked out.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Bitch in charge. God damn.
That was a bit of old school flavor on him, you
Bitch
know?
in charge.
Oh, yeah.
That was
yeah.
tasty. Super old school flavor.
So tasty.
Did
Yeah.
a cheeky Romanian intro. Love that.
Tough,
Random.
tough.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Did you, how did you grab all these little samples and bits of the pieces? There was also a part where you actually were like doing a bit of like role play, yeah?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the elephant in the room with long acrylic nails is the Karen of whom I decided to attribute a verse to. I am a retail gal.
Shout
If
outs.
you know me, you know that. Shout outs to the gang who can't work. But mine is essential workers. But what a wild time. But retail is very much like one of those industries where when a customer leaves, you just gotta kind of like have a laugh and a bit of a giggle. So, you know, I was not satisfied with the bars and the beats and the booties that were popping because I wanted some more. I wanted more, and that's where that came from. So honestly, that was the perfect track to kind of like wrap this up to. But
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get the booties popping to it. But like booty popping and your mind's booty popping also.
Mind
The mind's
booty.
people say there's the mind's eye. You've also got the mind's ass. just a little biology for you guys.
Little cranial twerk.
You kids are whack.
Who you calling a kid? Kid.
Oh,
Lordy.
all right. Let's
Yeah.
let's switch it up into the icy cold work of Connor. What you slide into my email, man? What are we dealing with?
So this is an unreleased track that it's been on the download for a long time. I actually wrote it in 2015. So basically it's called Fancy. And the way I sort of
You already
envision
know.
it, you already know. The way I sort of envision it is the this world and the rap game and all that sort of stuff about how money and cars and everything needs to be so fancy for you to be successful. It's a bit like how you can still have that and not be happy. You can still have that and be looking for more. You can still have that and have questions about who you are and what you're trying to do. Like that doesn't define you. So it's pretty much just touches on that.
Powerful words.
If you listen to
so
lyrics,
are you looking to release this in the near future? Or why are you sitting on it?
I've got a few songs that are like, I'd say about 75% done. Maybe 3, 4. And some of them I've just been sitting on. So I'm still trying to work out whether to drop them all as like an album, whether to drop just 4 of them as an EP, or whether to just do singles and all that. So I'm not 100% sure yet, DillyDave.
Cool.
We'll work it out.
Well,
let's listen and find out.
You may never hear it again apart from right here. So who knows?
It's an exclusive.
I was
if you want to say it once more, I might be able to time it right.
It's an exclusive.
Yes!
It's quite a long one, isn't it? It's like the extended air horn leak.
It really holds on to the last way.
Yeah.
All
All
like
right.
airs out.
Yeah. It does. You got to let it deflate, right?
D to the O to the N to the N to the R. What's up?
Let's get elevated with some fancy stuff from Connor.
Yay.
Please make sure to keep your hands and feet inside this boat at all times. Thank you. Flashy cars in fancy sneakers, music blasting through overpriced speakers, searching for answers but left with questions. Someone help me please, I need some suggestions. Flashy cars in fancy sneakers, music blasting through overpriced speakers, searching for answers but left with questions. Someone help me please, I need some suggestions. Flashy cars and fancy, flashy cars and fancy, flashy cars and fancy, flashy cars and fancy. Suggestions, cars and fancy cars. Suggestions, and fancy cars. Flashy cars and fancy cars. Flashy cars and fancy cars. Flashy cars in fancy sneakers, music blasting through overpriced speakers, searching for answers but left with questions. Someone help me please, I need some suggestions. Suggestions.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Connor. I'm
Man.
offended that I haven't heard this before now. That was good. I enjoyed that.
That was dope.
I don't know if you noticed
I agree.
that long interlude after the first chorus. There was a long, just a bit of a beat with all this vocal synths and stuff that I do. I'm still trying to fill that. So I've been pondering for a while what to do, whether it should be a verse, whether I should sing, whether I should get a feature, etc., etc. So that's one of the reasons I haven't released it yet. It's just because it needs something, and I just haven't been able to
Should
put
have
a
a
finger on it.
feature.
Yeah, I think
Feature should be me.
that's so funny.
You can have a crack at it. Like this is one of the ones I was actually had you in mind for when we spoke about it the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I said, look, I'm going to put it out there to anyone I think could suit. I've got a couple of artists in mind. I just haven't finished as much as I can do on it yet to present it as this is the product. I need you to fill this one spot. You know what I mean? It's like it's nearly done, but I'm thinking about what to do here and there. No, this is it. Just need this bit done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But I
Seems
mean,
like it's at that
honestly,
stage.
now I was just going to agree with what Dilly said. Like now's fully the time for it, because whilst things aren't like mega solidified, you still have a bit of a wiggle room before you're like fully committed to your vision. So yeah, definitely figure out what you want to do. It's an awesome track. I was vibing the hell out.
Yeah,
This was awesome.
Tasty work on the
drum beats have some.
Go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like the drum beats have some real Dilla vibes. Like it's just off, like that snare and like it
Some
just
swing in there.
got some
There's a
real
real
swing
sort of lazy kind of beat to it, like the fancy cars.
it's a bop. It's a bop.
It's a bop. It's a bop for sure.
A little
know
bit T-Painy with the vocoder. Love it.
Yeah, totally.
No.
I know
My
people use the
favorite
word
bit-
juxtaposition too much, but it's an interesting
I don't even know what that
juxtaposition between
means.
like between auto-tune, jazz, and introspection. You know, it's like
There's my favorite bit
Jazz
from
and
it is actually when I don't know
Why
if
did
you
you
noticed,
just
but when it
introspection?
goes flashy cars, I'm not obviously going to sing right now because I can't be bothered. But anyway, flashy
Yeah.
cars and fancy, and then it goes from being like I was like because in the actual recording I stuffed up, and I decided what?
I
I'm gonna
was
keep
wondering what that
Yeah, I was
was.
like flashy cars and fancy, and I hit a bung note. I was like and I was like fuck it, I'll leave it in there. And then I came
like it.
out of that with some hard auto tune just to contrast it. So it sounded really raw. And then it came in with like, this is how I can make it sound when I want to. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll leave it raw and then bring in the auto tune as well.
Nice.
And I think it creates like a punch. It's almost like a punch, like, this is music now. Like before that was just a recording and now this is music. So
Isn't it
polishes
interesting?
it.
Like when does it become music? How exciting.
yeah, when someone enjoys it, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right on. Well, you got you enjoyed it, so 4 people who enjoy it right here. Hell
it
yeah.
was great. Big ups. Thanks
Being
to
the
both
boys.
of you for sharing
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
your beautiful
listening.
offerings,
What a joy.
exclusive
Well,
peeps.
Thank you so much for having. I can't speak for Connor, but I will say thank you for having us. Thank you for having me anyway. But
Thank you for having us.
yeah,
I know I had a good time. I don't know about Connor.
I don't know about you. No, I
I
think
can
this
speak on
is
behalf
awesome.
of both of us when I say I think we both had a great time.
Oh,
We did.
We
had a ripper of a time.
And he
It
also
was-
knows I'll
this
keep
is joy.
talking. He'll be like, I'll cut her off now. She had a good time.
Amazing. Well, yeah, good chats, good music, good times, good company. It's all good.
It's all good.
That just cuts it right there. That's the end of it.
That's what
It's all
Yeah.
good.
we end. Shuckers, everyone. Let's do a silly one.
There we go. Is this outro music time? Should we make up some outro music?
I think
Yeah, or how about
it's like the song from Bear in the Big Blue House where he's like, goodbye, goodbye, good friends, goodbye, goodbye. Yeah, classics.
this has been another episode of Vibe Union Podcast. Thank you so much, Jesse Jackson, for providing the instrumental for our life. I'm kidding. Thanks for joining us. You know where to catch us. It's everywhere that's both online, offline. You can buy us. You can barter with us. but we just like you to reach out. And we send all the love we can to your flesh vehicles, and we'll catch you next week. Anybody else with anything to say? Any departing messages?
Peace out.
That's big love.
Really.
Be good. And if not, be good at it. That's how we end it. Bye, guys.